It began not with a bang, but with a lamp, a simple, decorative, mushroom-shaped lamp that sat innocently in the background of a photo posted by Ningning, a Chinese member of the massively popular K-pop group aespa. Back in 2022, when she shared the image on the fan platform Bubble, she merely called it a pretty light. For 2 years, that a piece of home decor. But in the high-stakes, hyper-vigilant world of international fandoms and geopolitics, nothing stays innocent forever. The spark that ignited one of the most politically charged crises in recent K-pop history was a matter of perception, and in late 2024, that perception shifted catastrophically. Japanese netizens, scrolling through old posts, resurfaced the image and saw something entirely different. To them, the soft, rounded shape of the lamp wasn't a mushroom, it was a mushroom cloud. And in a nation that endured the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that image is not merely a shape, it is a permanent national wound. Almost overnight, online forums and social media platforms in Japan erupted. What was once a casual post was now being framed as a deliberate and cruel reference to a national tragedy. Accusations flew, labeling Ningning as insensitive and disrespectful to the victims. The initial reaction from the Korean side of the internet and from international K-pop fans was largely one of confusion and dismissal. Many comments argued that Japanese fans were overreacting, taking a harmless interior design choice and twisting it into something malicious. "Don't ruin the mood, just laugh," some said, failing to grasp the profound cultural and historical sensitivity they were confronting. But this was far more than a typical fandom spat. The controversy began to mutate, taking on a dangerous political life of its own. Online commentators started digging deeper, zeroing in on Ningning's background. She is from Harbin, a city in China that suffered under Japanese colonial rule from 1932 to 1945. This biographical detail became a key piece of so-called evidence for those arguing that the lamppost was not an accident, but a calculated expression of anti-Japanese sentiment rooted in historical grievances. It didn't matter that the photo was years old, posted without any context or caption relating to Japan. The narrative had been set, and the outrage began to organize. A petition materialized demanding that aespa be removed from one of Japan's most prestigious television events, NHK's Kohaku Utagassen, the Red and White Song Contest. The petition gathered staggering momentum, amassing over 100,000 signatures in just a few days. It argued that allowing aespa to perform would damage Japan's image and disrespect the memory of the atomic bomb victims. This was a scale of backlash far beyond the usual fan wars. This was a nationwide sentiment crystallizing around a K-pop idol. In response, NHK, the national broadcaster, found itself in a difficult position. They issued a statement clarifying that they had checked with aespa's agency, SM Entertainment, and confirmed that Ningning had no intention of mocking anyone. SM Entertainment, following a classic crisis PR playbook, declined further comment, likely hoping the storm would pass. But this storm was not going to pass because, by this point, the lamp was almost irrelevant. aespa and Ningning had inadvertently become pawns in a much larger and rapidly escalating geopolitical conflict between China and Japan. To understand why a simple lamp could trigger such an immense firestorm, you have to look at the political backdrop, which was already a tinderbox. The current wave of tension was triggered by remarks from Japanese Prime Minister who stated that Japan could potentially respond militarily if a Chinese attack on Taiwan threatened Japan's security. For Beijing, which views Taiwan as a breakaway province and any foreign commentary on it as a direct interference in its sovereignty, this was a red line. China's response was swift and multi-pronged. They issued travel advisories discouraging citizens from visiting Japan, leading to a wave of canceled trips that hit Japan's tourism industry hard. Then came a sweeping ban on Japanese seafood imports, citing safety concerns, a move with severe long-term economic consequences, and then the axe fell on the entertainment industry. Almost simultaneously, a quiet but devastating cascade of cancellations began targeting Japanese artists in China. Dozens of concerts and events were abruptly called off. Japanese singer-songwriter Kokia's Beijing concert was canceled at the last minute, with her team reporting that the band was ready to perform, but the venue refused them entry, citing instructions from above. A show in Guangzhou featuring J1 members was axed due to force majeure, a term widely understood as a political excuse. Japanese rapper Kid Frazino's entire China tour was postponed indefinitely. A 3-day comedy festival in Shanghai featuring Japanese performers was abandoned just 2 days before its opening. Even veteran jazz musician Yoshio Suzuki was stopped by police moments before he was set to play in Beijing. The message was clear. This was a coordinated cultural sanction. Industry insiders revealed that not only were current shows being canceled, but new applications for Japanese concerts. Even those planned for 2026 were being suspended. Film releases like the Japanese comedy Cells at Work were also postponed indefinitely. The chilling effect was immediate. International musicians began refusing bookings in China, fearing last-minute, unexplained cancellations. One music agent bluntly captured the sentiment, saying, "The word has gotten around that China is sometimes unstable. If we don't get stability and predictability, I'm going to have to disclose a very significant and unnecessary risk." This is the toxic atmosphere into which the aespa lamp controversy was reignited. As Japanese artists found themselves suddenly banned in China, a sense of cultural reciprocity or retaliation began to brew among some Japanese netizens. The old, dormant photo of Ningning's lamp was the perfect, albeit flimsy, pretext for a response. The lamp, a product that is actually sold in Japan and marketed as a cute gift suitable for children's rooms, was transformed into a potent symbol of anti-Japanese sentiment at the worst possible moment. The petition against aespa's Kohaku performance was no longer just about one idol's post. It became a vehicle for Japanese netizens to protest China's broader cultural crackdown. Despite aespa being a Korean group, Ningning's Chinese nationality made the entire group a stand-in for China in the eyes of the most outraged petitioners. They were no longer just protesting an idol. They were protesting a nation's actions. For aespa's fans, the situation felt profoundly unfair. They argued that Ningning's ethnicity was being weaponized against her and the group for a misunderstanding. They pointed out that the inclusion of a Chinese member in a group scheduled for Kohaku was never an issue before the political tensions boiled over. Many felt the real issue was xenophobia, disguised as outrage over a historical slight. The situation highlighted the precarious position of K-pop itself, a Korean cultural product that often features multinational members and must constantly navigate the complex and often hostile political relationships between East Asian nations. aespa found itself in a perfect storm, a Korean group with a Chinese member, caught in a diplomatic crossfire between Japan and China with a years-old photo of a lamp as the catalyst. In the end, the clarification from SM Entertainment was never going to be enough. How do you appease an anger that was never really about your intent? The anger was about historical trauma, current political posturing, and a desire for cultural reprisal. The aespa cancellation crisis is a stark lesson in how the worlds of entertainment and geopolitics are now inextricably linked. A mushroom-shaped lamp, a symbol of cozy bedroom aesthetics, became a mushroom cloud of controversy, demonstrating that in today's interconnected world, an idol's most casual action can be amplified into an international incident with real-world consequences for concerts, careers, and cultural exchange. The fallout proves that when nations clash, even the most apolitical of pop stars can find themselves on the front lines.